Hey, Radiant Hill family, Bellevue Christian School family, and anybody else who's tuning in for a little hope for today. I continue to remind us that it is so important that in the midst of our current situation, all of our situations looking different, that it is important that we stop and realize that for those of us who believe, we are tethered to hope. A hope that is outside of this situation and inside of this situation simultaneously. And that hope isn't a force, that hope isn't some idea, that hope isn't some positive mindset, but that hope is a person, and that's Jesus Christ. I want to share with us today just a little passage of scripture from Philippians chapter 1. Paul's writing back to his buddies, and I've been steeping myself in Philippians. For those of you who are part of the Radiant Hill launch team, we've been working through this letter that Paul writes to his friends. And Paul finds himself in jail as he's writing this letter back to his buddies in Philippi. And he says this in chapter 1, verse 12. I want you to know, brothers, that what has happened to me has really served to advance the gospel. What has happened to Paul as he was thrown in jail, right? He writes this, he says, I want you to know that this has happened and it is pushing the gospel, the good news of Jesus, forward. And Paul goes on to share about how some of his brothers and sisters who are outside of jail, who are believers, they are more courageous in their sharing of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And he even actually talks about how some who don't like him, even other believers who don't like him, they might be speaking badly about Paul because he's been thrown in jail. There's a lot of speculation why he was thrown in jail. There's a lot of speculation about Paul and his motivations. But Paul says, I don't even care. Because as long as the gospel is being proclaimed, that is a good thing. In fact, he says in verse 18 of chapter 1, he says, what then? Only that in every way, speaking of the gospel being preached, whether in pretense or in truth, Christ is proclaimed, and in that I rejoice. You see, when we look at Paul's situation, so many unexpected things have happened. He's in jail. People are talking badly about him even though he was jailed because he's proclaiming the gospel. All of these unexpected things are happening, but Paul realizes that God is at work in the unexpected places of life. And because of that, he says at the end, even shackled up in jail, he rejoices. My friends, when unexpected things hit our lives, God is bigger. Our lives don't stop. Our purpose doesn't stop. The gospel doesn't stop. God is at work in our craziness. And in that, we can have joy. Even when our life is crumbling, even when unexpected things happen, even when we're wrongfully accused, the Lord meets us in those places. The Lord is still doing his work, and the Lord still gives joy to those who have hope in him. So take heart today, my friends. Jesus has overcome the world, and he is at work in our midst today. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.